It's finally time to start firing up the grill. From city to shore, Acme is everything you need to prep for this summer season. Download the Acme app to shop for this season's essentials any way you want. Open the Acme app, clip your deals, then order your items online. An experienced Acme associate will carefully select your groceries, bag your order, and bring it right to your car or deliver right to your door. Download the app or visit acmemarkets.com for program details.
Hi there, I am Adam Kirbas, and this is my fourth episode on my podcast. And I am somehow getting used to it or not now. I'm still practicing podcast, of course. And one question which has arisen while making podcast is, of course, how to structure it. I mean, this is a big issue since I wanted to approach podcasts like it was a seminar paper you normally write in universities. This would be a typical seminar paper would be that you have a question, and that you then follow through this question, that you have some hypothesis and so on. But I thought this is a structure which is not very suitable for podcasts, because in a way in my podcast specifically I talk about myself, and in a way to structure it. Yeah, of course you can structure it chronologically. Nevertheless, it is your work you are talking about, and it would be too theoretical if we would structure it like it would be a seminar paper. And of course, a seminar paper which you write in the university, it is different in that sense that in the university you use a different language. You use, especially in German. In Germany, if you write in German, then it is some sort of if you want sarcastically, that the people use a lot of words, hard to understand words, a lot of difficult vocabulary in order to shine out. Thank God this is not the case in English, and it is not the case in English because I'm not very sophisticated, or I'm not a native speaker in English. And don't make a mistake about it. I'm not exception. So if I would if I would hold this podcast in German, you would most likely hear my German snobism. Nevertheless, but it was a very difficult approach. I mean, I want to talk about it as well, because there is of course some literature on the web, but these are too general, because it is always difficult how to structure a podcast, especially if it is about you and about your work. It is because it is, in a way, you tell it. This is different, and of course you don't. It is not that I'm not artistic, like we talked about it. You have to be some sort of an artist to do these kinds of stuff, but it is as well as somehow you wanna put forward a different perception. I mean, this is, of course, you ask yourself, how am I being perceived? And this is indeed, I mean, especially when someone went through what I went through, then perception is in a way important, not in a and don't make a mistake about it. I mean, of course, I'm using this podcasts to promote my books, and as well as my literature, which I self-published. I mean, I have not a publisher. Nevertheless, I mean, my identity was stolen, and not once there are still people out there who want to steal my identity. So this podcast is as well to verify my identity so that people can associate the name Adam Kirbas with this voice. However, that's and that's what I want to talk about it. And of course, I mean, the one thing I want to how I wanted to structure the podcasts is indeed an introduction, which is in a way required. And I am listening to some podcasts there; it is done. But I mean, I am not very. Until now, this is the first podcast I actually prepared more. But in a way, I don't write exactly down what I want to talk about. I mean, despite the fact that it would be easier because I'm stuttering. But uh, I mean, if you talk about yourself, then of course you think about things, about stuff, what happened, and then you remember. This is like while you're speaking, you think about this, you think about that, and you wanna talk about these things as well. And this is the reason why I did not write anything down, or not, so that it does not become rigid. And of course, I'm talking here all by myself. This is not an interview or nothing else, so this makes a bit difficult. So, but I've and I want to move forward with this. So no rigid outline. I will start with an introduction, what I think we should talk about, or what I want to talk about, and then we'll see how it leads. I mean, I will try to stick up on this point. And of course, like I said voice. And the next thing I wanna talk about is now, of course, my voice. I mean, I make music videos, I write song lyrics, and some of you may have heard some of my songs on TikTok, on Instagram or Facebook. I mean, I have 3 Facebook pages. I have 4 Instagram pages out of protection because of this identity theft, which went pretty much far, and which was in a way insulting. Nevertheless, I will talk about it, but in a special, um, maybe later on. Nevertheless, but this is my voice, so I don't use any voice enhancers. There is indeed a difference between me speaking and singing. I mean, I survived some gas attacks. This happens, so my voice is distorted. There is you may have heard it. My singing voice is some raw, is scratchy, is very deep. This has to do exactly. So this is my voice. That is indeed some distortion. However, I wanted to make sure, so I do not use any voice enhancements whatsoever. The lyric is mine, the voice is mine. Only the background music, the background music is from TikTok. I mean, I did these TikTok videos again. One reason why I did these TikTok videos was to ensure my identity. This is indeed an issue because it is not very easy to get on social media verified. Try to verify yourself on Instagram, Facebook. I mean, without the help of certain celebrities, this is almost impossible. So the struggles, and this was indeed a big issue. So this is not me being paranoid. The the this identity theft. This was really uh, was grueling, and I still suffer from the effects of it to this very days, or this is not over. There are still people out there who falsely claim they would be me. This is sad, but this is a way, for example, to somehow bring this all to an end. However, what I wanna talk about in this episode is the last time we talked about whitewashing, and I think this is very important. I know I said I only want to talk about my work, but whitewashing and what comes with it, because I had these experiences in the university, and these experiences played a crucial role in the novel, as well as in my entire thinking. Before I came to Vienna, I thought differently. I grew up in rural Austria. There was a different perception. Nevertheless, when I came to Vienna, you had, of course, some sort of a special expectations, especially when you think about lefties, and how you are being perceived. And my experiences at the university were indeed formative to my perception, and how in whiteness, how this is being perceived, and that it is not only those so-called far right people or evil people, as they are being portrayed by the left, that they commit these. I don't know. You have to be careful, of course. How do you want to name it? I don't want to say atrocious, but it was some sort of these vile actions, and they need to be addressed. So I think whitewashing, or the cultural accumulation of is very important, and I think, and I always and I already referred to Stuart Hall. Stuart Hall is a great social scientist, and everyone who is interested in this topic should read Stuart Hall by all means necessary. This is structuralism, very interesting. However, but I want to rather talk about my own experiences and how I see these things. And these experiences, they came to dominate my thinking. Like I said, I gave a very loose definition of whitewashing. Whitewashing just means simply, and to bring it on the to the point, is that there's some elite, and this elite conquers cultural achievements of other cultures, as well as their own, and somehow sells it as their own ingenious invention. This is what it is. So this is what I experienced in the university, as well as in the Austrian society, as we talked the last time about that this is rather being put forward by the elite, that this whitewashing is some sort of an exclusion, because it is, if you propagate that other cultures are not capable of any cultural achievements, of course you exclude them. And if you take over their social and cultural achievements and sell it as their own, then you directly or indirectly support this notion, and this is, of course, counterproductive in the 21st century. I don't want to talk about cultural appropriation. There is this term, and it is some I think a very careful. Because cultural appropriation is, I think you have to take it with a big salt of with a big grain of salt and have to be careful. Nevertheless, but I wanna or we talked about it the last time. This is about power relation. This is not only confined to the right or through the conservatives, because like I said, in Austria I had the experience that the far right groups, they just did not like you. I mean, they just did not wanted you to be part of them. They thought about you as a foreigner, and you as a foreigner has no rights or should be kept at bay. Then, of course, the conservatives, these are mainly religious groups. For those religious groups, if you're not Christian, then you are some sort of always outside the flock. And then within the left, you are nothing else than mere someone who supports their leftist constituents in elections. So you are somewhere nothing else than a pawn. And and I want to talk about the university in specific. And before that, before I talk about the university, I mean, the perception was always, I mean, this is what was somehow always propagated to us in the society, was that those who are racist and those bigots, they are all some people who are either unemployed, who have no not have no education and so on, and this is the grumpy average guy who just lost out on modernization and he just hates migrants. This is how we somehow perceive. This is how we were told about this. And then, of course, you assume, and this was someone said that once you go in the university, you are surrounded by smart and witty people. These are people who are understandable, who have attitude, of course, but you are somehow being equal. And this is what we were told, but it was some sort of a. But once you go in the university, this was a completely different. I mean, in the university, I don't wanna. Maybe I will talk about the university in detail later on. But in the university, you have to be aware of one thing, and this is tough competition. I mean, this is not about the university. At least how I experience it, this is not about allocating knowledge or producing knowledge. University is about competition. No one cares about which party you are or whatsoever. University is about competition, for vying for power, and of course everyone wants to get a job. You have to consider the university like a business enterprise. Everyone wants to get a job, maybe not the CEO, but you wanna be there. You wanna be at the front row and so on. But there are of course very dire developments like, well, dire experiences which I had. And these experiences, like I said in the previous episodes, that one crucial aspect or one aspect in the university was that you are somehow discouraged of writing. That people somehow, there are many reasons why you are being discouraged. I mean, one reason is that that people want to discourage you in order to make their achievements to shine out, as well as to some sort of keep you at bay. But one thing what I was somehow shocked was what I was shocked about was that in the university there are, at least this happened in my university, they would bring in people, really random people who had no university degree whatsoever, and they would put them in front of you and would say you, yeah, these people have a story to tell. I mean, it is always difficult to say what really went in the head of these people. I mean, this was before. Nevertheless, you have to be aware of one thing, and this is what I need to want to say. I mean, in the university, if you bring in people, random people who have no degree whatsoever, and then put them in front of students and tell them, yeah, you have to, this is your new lecture, then you some sort of undermine all the hard work other people did, because there are a lot of migrants. There are a lot of migrants who work their ass off in their life, in their work, who go through through this academic ladder. I mean, and this is tough. I mean, to write your seminar papers, to read those books. Studying is mostly reading, to go all through these processes, and then you are somehow betrayed by these people. They put someone else in front of you, and just some sort of wanna make you feel, yeah, no matter what you do, it is in the end worthless. I mean, it has some sort of a symbolic power, and this is of course devastating. This is, I mean, it is it is indeed, there are people who would be hoping for a post in the university. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, this is a good paid job, and of course you get the opportunity to teach your world through and so on. But these methods, which I experienced, they were really some sort of to discourage people, and this was mainly really to discourage migrants, because who does this? Who brings all these people in front of us, in front of migrants? Yeah, these are mainly these white leftist elites, and this is meant against us, against migrants. This was from the beginning always meant against migrants. This is actually what we are talking about, and these people, they can make you believe, you do whatever you want, but we decide what is happening here. And now people will say, why do these people? I mean, this was not always very clear. Why would anyone bring some random people from outside? Sometimes these were even homeless people, and these homeless people, they would be brought in front of us. I mean, some knew of this. I mean, I only understood this in retrospect, but then those random people, they would brought in front of you and then said, yeah, well, listen to this person, even though I don't want to negate the experience of a homeless person. I don't want to negate anything whatsoever, but nevertheless, if you want to educate, or if you want to somehow teach people, first of all, we need to know who you are. This is, I think, very important, and what you are, why you are. You just don't come around, put yourself in front of people, and then some sort of mockingly, yeah, let's talk about this, let's talk about that. And now, of course, some of you will say, yeah, so what? Some people came in, some people, they pretended to be someone they are not. Yeah, so what? So what? You could say, yeah, well, these people, or it was a social experiment, or whatever, and nothing happened. That these people just pretended to had fun, and we would make here a fuss about nothing. Well, it is a serious issue. This is indeed a serious issue, especially in Austria, because it has a lot of because this kind of conduct was copied many times, not only in the university, but as well as in the police, as well as in the judicial system. Because you have to know about one thing, and this is that university, or in the university, the intellectual elite of a country is being educated. educated is being brought up. This is not nothing. These are the future people who will lead politics, who will lead economy, and especially in Austria, where many companies are state-owned. And if you wanna accomplish something in the economy, then you have to be a party member. Of course, I know that many Americans will now be confused what is party membership. It is a bit different, like in the US. Party membership in or at least, I don't know for sure how this really works in America, but in Austria as well as in Europe mainly, you are part of a political party, and this party has big influence on your private life and so on. For example, if you are, let's say, if you are part of a conservative party or whatsoever, then you are some sort of put under a social corset, as well as if you are part of a socialist party or whatsoever, that you do not, for example, only buy at these grocery stores, which in a way are being considered conservative, socialists, or far right, far left, as well as so on and so. Party membership goes way beyond just to show your allegiance to a political ethnicity. This is very important. But to come back to the university, and this is actually a big thing. If you undermine the accomplishments of other people, or other people, I'm not talking about me, but other migrants who would have been gladly, or who would have been glad to get a chance to prove themselves in the university, and these white leftist people, they're just mocking them. And this had, of course, and this had a huge impact, and this had, for example, a huge impact in the Austrian police force. Now imagine with all what's going on in America. Imagine if a policeman stops you or knocks on your door, that your chances are 50-50, whether this police officer is actually real police, or if it is just a vigilante who has just dressed up as a policeman. I don't know how and why these people, how and where these people get these police uniforms, but apparently they get them with a gun. And now imagine that such a vigilante knocks on your door and pretends to be a policeman. So this means your chances are 50-50, where if you walk on the street to meet a policeman, that this is actually real police, what you are meeting. And I think this is something which you have to consider, what this does to a social cohesion, what this does to a society, when you are not sure that the law enforcement you are facing is actually not really law enforcement. I know these issues, they are not confined to Austria, because here in Turkey, even here in my hometown, there are some people who dress up as policemen and harass people. There is a very I think about this issue we have to talk about as well, but maybe in a later on. However, and this did not stop there. This did not stop in the police force. This as well as permeated the judicial system. Can you imagine that you sit in a court trial, and that this trial is just a sham? That people are brought in front of the court with trumped up charges, with false witness reports, just to deceive these people and take advantage of them. Can you imagine what this means? And I'm talking about as a victim, because I became a victim of this crooked system of trumped up charges, and then you are brought in front of a court, and you believe this. It's not like that these people did not knew the trade of deception. Hell yeah, they knew it. And I even asked them. I mean, I was there, the trumped up charge where the lawyer, my lawyer, and so on, that they were actually a family, that this is a criminal gang who has been deceiving and defrauding people for a long time. And I asked this woman, how long has she been doing this? How many clients did she have? And she didn't know. She said to me, yeah, she has been doing this for a decade or two. She does not know how many clients she has. I mean, we are talking about sham trials here. I want to repeat this. Sham trials, people who are not even Austrian citizens, who are from the Czech Republic and so on. They come in front of you, bring people in front of court and say, yeah, well, you are being charged with this and that, and if you want peace, then you have to pay something and so on. This is how these people are doing this, and then you understand that this is indeed a big deal, and this is even a bigger deal in Austria. Why Austria? Now, Austria especially, as well as Germany, because of the Nazi past. And in the Nazi past, sham trials played a crucial role. This is something you learn in history lessons. This is something you learn all over the school system, as well as in the society. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is something which is not neglected. This is a big issue, and people invest a lot of time to raise our children to know about their past, what the ancestors did. And sham trials were a crucial part in those Nazi in the Third Reich, where people were prosecuted. And normally you have to be sensible for this, and you are being sensible, or at least on the paper, or how we are being told that every student or everyone in the society would be sensibilized, would be. But then somehow you find out, yeah, these all did not work out. I mean, it didn't, yet it still happened, because it is happening in front of the eyes of everyone. Because I thought in the beginning, when this happened to me, I mean, you have to be aware, sham trials, these people want to deceive you, and they are not doing it in a secret location or something. No, this is the judicial palace. This is the justice department. This is all happening in front of the eyes of all others, and this means or at least the conclusion I made is that these history lessons that is somehow failed. It failed because how can you otherwise explain this? And we talked the last time about Austria as a failed state. I mean, these are actually one of the reasons why this is a failed state. I mean, why is America so strong? Everyone always says, at least this is what we learned in political science. Yeah, America is strong because America has one good functioning judicial system, so no one is above the law. There's these people, they don't care whether you are a royal, whether you are a Said or whatever, they prosecute everyone. But this is only half of it. If you only see in America the investment, and Alexis Tocqueville already wrote this in his book, that the Americans, that they are way more invested in their society as well as in their politics. This is true to the current state, and you only have to watch social media. And on social media, you can see a lot how in America's politics are being conducted. And this leads me to a very important development. And this is a development which I witnessed in Austria. And this development is somehow, because normally this is something you assume an authoritarian state or any dictatorship always enacts some laws which would curb freedom of speech, would curb individual rights or whatsoever. So we all are focused on laws because mainly in America as well as in continental Europe, the politicians there mainly jurists. They have more. They are they are many lawyers and have a law degree or come from this background. But in Austria happened, and in Austria this is something unique. Happened actually something unique, and this meant in Austria this is something different than in Hungary, uh, uh, where there are not some many laws where freedom of speech is curbed, as well as in Poland or in Venezuela, where there are many laws to the disadvantage of the people are enacted. But in Austria, this was not the case. There was no need. There was no need to somehow enact any laws to curb freedom of speech, no whatsoever. In Austria, one somehow learned that it is actually not necessary. This is in a way useless, because in order to make a law just obsolete, you just need enough people who just don't care about the law, who just do not go along. And if you do not have any functioning law enforcement, then you can make everything obsolete, even equality. And this is indeed a very dangerous development. This is a development which may or may not have started in the university. I mean, we don't know, because we don't. What we need to know is how long this has been going, how many people are involved in this, because this is more than this woman. She didn't even know how many people she sent to the scaffold, and so on and so on. So this has been going on apparently for decades. So we don't know how many victims. We don't know how deep this goes. And of course, we cannot say for sure where this all started. But one thing is for sure, and this is that the university is indeed a very important place, because it gives role models, it gives people guidance, and this is because it is understandable that most of the victims are migrants, or are people who cannot defend themselves. I mean, this is aiming at. This is aiming at the weak, or even then later, which is was in my case, where they were really discouraging you to seek legal advice or whatever, and you didn't even get any legal advice. I mean, this was all blocked. You could do whatever you do, whatever you want. There was just no chance in Austria whatsoever that you even get anyone. This was striking down. You were some sort of really blackmailed, really cornered. And these people, they know that trade, and apparently they have been doing it for a while. And this was even permitted in the university. This was this justice department, or a branch of this justice department, was right across the campus, or is right across the campus of the university. There is a lot of disturbing things going on in Austria, and this is, I wanted to talk about this as well. I mean we have passed our time, and how this was for me very important. So to sum up this development in Austria, so there are indeed some weary developments within the society, and that even though we might think that that it would not mean much. It means actually a lot. It meant for me a lot because I couldn't just believe it. If someone would have told me this when I grew up in rural Austria, I would have never believed this. I wouldn't. I would have assumed something like that happens somewhere in a third world country. But who would have thought that this would happen here in Austria, here in Europe, in the middle of Europe? I mean, this was beyond my imagination. And if someone would have told me this, I would have said that this can't be true, and I had to see it with my own eyes. I had to experience this with my own. I had to experience this to understand how important it is to have checks and balances. I mean, I had a blissful imagination, a very positive imagination of the left, and I know, of course, there are some rotten apples within the flock, and that I probably do injustice to all those people who are really fight for equal opportunities and justice. And nevertheless, but these few people, especially in position of powers, they could wreak havoc, and they partially contributed to Austria becoming a failed state. This is something one should not mistake. And my writing actually, because for me it was a pretty difficult situation, because I knew that if I would write about these things, they would make my life to living hell. I mean, I knew it, and in a way, of course, you wanna inform the public, because in Austria somehow not even the news media really worked properly. I mean, but again, who would have thought? I mean, it is not to blame anyone. It just someone. This is something you just do not expect anyone to do this. The same happened with the Americans. I mean, who would have thought? Who would have believed if someone before told you what is going on in Guantanamo, or what is going on in other parts of the country? No one would have believed it, but then more and more people started to believe. However, but it was as well as to some sort of self-defense that you had to talk about these things. And of course, you have to be aware of one thing, that I don't know all the facts, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how long this has been happening, how many people are involved in this, and it will probably take years to and from a different perspective and point of view to really bring light into the dark. However, I wanted to clear these things up. This is something I talked about the last times, and this is not the far-right groups, or they were involved in this, of course, the far-right groups and so on, but nevertheless, this is the left. This was the Austrian left. These were people who were left-leaning, who fought for the equality of migrants, who said that migrants should be treated equally. At least this is what they wrote on their flags, and yet they did all these things. This is the end of my. This is the end of my episode. I hope next time we will, but for definite, we will continue talking about my work, my books, and hopefully, and so on. And I hope things became clear to you. I hope you are all doing fine, that you stay healthy and take care of yourself. Bye.
It's finally time to start firing up the grill. From city to shore, Acme is everything you need to prep for this summer season. Download the Acme app to shop for this season's essentials any way you want. Open the Acme app, clip your deals, then order your items online. An experienced Acme associate will carefully select your groceries, bag your order, and bring it right to your car or deliver right to your door. Download the app or visit acmemarkets.com for program details.